City.
We do.
Are you looking at me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Real quick, we're up against, a timeline, and yes, I think other organizations should donate, but we gotta make a decision. And if it goes with the South Council, maybe it'd be nice to give you credit to the South Council with a banner that's provided by, don't.
I'm not looking at you anymore. Thank you for your comment.
All right, welcome.
All right, any other discussion by board members? Hearing none, we'll take a vote. All those in favor of this
Sorry,
project?
I lost the thread there. Who's made the motion?
Who made the motion? Eric?
I think I did.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I did it. Now we try to make the motion.
It was Jeff, seconded by
Jeff.
Jeff.
Okay, so who made the motion? I didn't even see.
Jeff,
that.
on that?
Jeff, I'm the guy here, the handsome one. Well, I'm Brady.
And so on.
Thank you.
Let the record show.
All right, we're ready to take a vote. All those in favor, I want a hand vote. All those in favor, signify by raising your hand, please. 10, 11, 12, 13. Cheryl will stay. 13-0. Unanimous. All right. Next and last item, before we go to outreach. Report on the status of the grievance panel for the grievance filed by stakeholder William Kuzman at the October 3rd, 2013 meeting. Anthony, you want to give a report on the status and where we're at with that?
Yeah, do you want me to talk about the letter?
No, you can, yes.
All right, very much. So, as you know, we've had a grievance filed against us by Mr. Kuzman on various different matters, about 40 of them, after consultation with the city attorney. We've determined that certain of those matters are not proper to be brought before this board, and so we've advised Mr. Kuzman of that, and it leaves several matters to be resolved. And just so you know, what we're dealing with here is Article 11 of our bylaws that talk about a grievance process, what we can do when somebody files a grievance against us. The only things that the grievance panel can hear is issues concerning the board's violation of the board rules and the bylaws. So anything else, for instance, Brown Act violations, anything like that, that may or may not be significant, but this board does not have the authority to hear them. That's a matter for the city attorney or the district attorney. City attorney, okay. So, we are going through the grievance process procedure, and the grievance process procedure is fairly clear. We are inviting, and so I'm officially at this time inviting any stakeholder from Granada Hills South who wishes to be a part, or wishes to be considered, actually not even considered, wishes to put themselves up as a candidate for participation on a grievance committee to let me know. I've got cards with my email address on, and we will also be sending out a mailing tomorrow to our mailing list, advising people on our mailing list to put themselves up as candidates for this panel. Also, I think we may put something on the website also. How it will work is this: that we will get a list of all the people who are interested in participating on the panel a week from today. I, as the secretary responsible for convening this panel, will choose at random 3 stakeholders to be on that panel. We will, the 3 stakeholders.
5.
No, it's 3 according to our code.
That was 5.
No, it says 3. Article 11, item B.
Okay.
So 3 stakeholders will be on the panel. So let me explain a little bit, just informally, about what the panel will do. The panel will be 3 random stakeholders, but there will be people who have volunteered to be on the panel. Within 2 weeks of next week, the panel will meet with Mr. Kuzman, and they will discuss his grievances. And after that time, the panel will come back to the board with recommendations. Now, that's very open-ended, so I'll just explain a little bit of a background to that. What we'd like to think is that this panel will be a cooperative process, and I will advise them that the way that Dunn at least suggests that this be done is to meet with Mr. Cusman in a cooperative fashion to discuss the issues, not so much to look at pointing fingers for what happened before, but to look at how things could be changed for the future to improve the way that things run. And if there are any bylaws violations, we want to be able to pick up on this. So this is what will happen then, is that people will contact me. I'll get an official email out to the whole board, to the whole of our mailing list tomorrow with that. And I'm going to ask Aaron to set up a special email address which forwards to me, but I just want one email address so that I can be advised for my participation in this grievance board. I will ask people to let me know at that email address that they want to participate. I will then choose 3 people. I will then talk to the 3 people, probably invite one of them to make themselves into the chairman or to between the 3 people. And then they will themselves coordinate with Mr. Cusman, will coordinate a meeting time. It's not clear to me yet the nature of how these meetings work, whether or not that's an open session, a closed session, who is invited to be at the meeting. It seems like it could be an open session, but I do want to comment that there is no real guidance for these grievance panels from Dunn. There is, however, a little bit of guidance for the to date non-existent regional grievance committees, and those regional grievance committees, in order to be on a regional grievance panel, I should say, you have to have had some formal mediator training. And as I am a fully trained mediator, so is Dave LeBay, we understand that that's set to lead to a cooperative resolution process. So that's what I'm going to be advising everybody on. But basically the panel will meet with Mr. Cusman. Hopefully they'll come out with some resolution to what he wants to see in the future, and what that panel recommends, and then they will come back to the board with it. I would also like to say that we're on a bit of a timing issue here, because according to our own bylaws, we're supposed to come back to the board at the next board meeting. We've got a bit of a timing thing because it's Thanksgiving in the middle there. So I'm going to try and get this convened so that the meetings between the panel and Mr. Cusman take place the week after next week, which is the week before Thanksgiving, so that we can get everything done timely. That's pretty much it. So any questions?
Sorry, I know this is still very new for us, since we've never had a grievance filed against us. Oh, sorry, I'm mistaken.
We've had one, yeah.
One, so this is the second one.
But we determined it wasn't a stakeholder, so it was dismissed.
Okay. I know which one it was. Racist guy. So we have another one.
No, we don't. We don't have the first one because it wasn't a stakeholder.
Well, that was filed. Anyway, I stand corrected. My questions are, what happens if we don't get 3? If we don't get 3 people that
Okay, so I don't know how many people there are on the mailing list, but I already have 3 people that I've spoken to informally who have said that they would be on such a panel.
And the second question I have is that since we're all volunteers and the people that will be on this grievance panel will also be volunteering their time, is there any remuneration for any of this?
You're not volunteer? No. Get to the board member. Being your board member, stakeholder.
And,
I quit. No, you don't.
Well, it's like I said, there are a lot of guidelines about this, but I think as a policy, I don't want anybody who's a board member
A lot
or
of times.
I don't think we should have anybody that's a board member or got any direct association with the board like that. We want 3 random, good people.
I'm random, but I'd like to know, I would like to know if you have any idea of the commitment of how many meetings maybe?
I do. I would say this is going to be a couple of phone calls between me and the people that are, draw the long straws with this. There'll probably be a couple of phone calls between all of them to set themselves up. it will probably be minimum 1, maximum 2 meeting with Mr. Husband, and then after that somebody's got to write up some board recommendations and get them to the board. So it's probably going to be 2-3 evenings tops.
I didn't make up the question.
Plus they've got to read all the material. Mr. Husband's was quite lengthy, but about half of that, I believe, was not, has been deemed unappropriate to be in front of this panel.
Is anybody else excluded other than the record?
No.
Because Mr. Kuzman is systematically insulted just by every organization within Granada Hills, both north and south. I mean, he doesn't like any organization. And since a lot of us are on multiple
Well, at
organizations.
least he's equal opportunity there.
So, I mean, so none of them would be excluded either. So
No.
I'm sure Mr. Guzman will object.
No, because it's.
I think at this time, I'm going to say that we're going to exclude board members, and that's it.
Okay.
The bylaws specifically say who is eligible and who isn't, all right? So there's no question about who's eligible for this. The directors, you are not eligible, okay? Let's just leave it at that. Ralph?
I believe I'm a stakeholder since I work with the faith-based north and south. However, I'm a board member of Radicals North, is that excluding them?
No.
Are you volunteering?
I will volunteer.
All right.
And his grievance is against the South.
Okay.
Well, I'm going to tell you, it does not, respectfully, it doesn't say anything in here. It says that the board shall refer the matter to an ad hoc grievance panel comprised of 3 stakeholders randomly selected by the board from a list of stakeholders who have expressed an interest in serving from time to time on such a panel. So I'm going to ask them now if they're interested in volunteering, and I'm going to select 3 of them randomly. The next thing, it really doesn't even say that people can't be board members. I think it would be prudent to exclude the board members, just, because, if only because
Well,
things are going to come back in front of the
yeah,
board.
there's a conflict of interest there. I would, if someone volunteered, I would, one of the things that the city attorney advised was if there is some kind of conflict of interest, that it should be referred to the city attorney. And I would say right now, Mr. Kuzma sitting in the back here, a board member would have a conflict of interest, all right? So don't bother, okay? Stakeholder
Just
means
like-
someone other than on the board.
Just like my suggestion to recuse yourself from the affiliation was a conflict of interest. I would, why not just go through this without there being any more hiccups?
Yeah. So that's not gonna happen. All right, so Anthony, you wanna call for any more volunteers? You have one. Anyone else?
Who's volunteered? Okay, but if you want to come and see me, anybody that wants to volunteer now can come up and see me. I'll take your name and email. After that, I'm going to send out an email tomorrow. And, I'm going to randomly select. I've got many ways I can randomly select names. I've got no attachment. Who's on this video? Who isn't on this video?
Would it, I suggest that when you do this random selection, that you have at least one other board member.
No, I will do that. I will make sure it's all above board.
And so that there can be, go back there. Because we have this 7-day period where we're going to solicit our people. And then Anthony, I have every confidence, Mr. Matthews, will do this correctly. But I would just suggest that there be at least one, whatever selection process you decide. Just to be on.
Right now, I don't even know how I'm going to do that, but there's various options.
Just so that there won't be any question about how you can operate this way. All right. I don't see anyone else volunteering. Anything else, Anthony, on this? Mr. Kuzma, do you have any comments in agreement?
I'd question 3 or 5, but I'm sure that can be looked at
I
later.
honestly thought it was 5.
Yeah, I did too, but maybe there's a change I didn't see, so.
As far as, Mr.
You know, I will double check, but whether it's 3 or 5.
I just printed this out.
Was this from our website? You printed it from the website.
If it's 5, it's gonna be another 2 meetings.
Well, my recollection, look, my recollection was that it was 5, maybe it was changed at some point, and maybe my recollection's faulty. That won't be the first time.
You know, you're right, but I perked right up when I saw it. It's only 3. Sorry? Well, I'm going to invite all the people to be, and then more than, I don't know the exact list, but probably about 10. Yeah, these are just people I've spoken to informally, but I've not put it out to the whole.
All right. Thank you very much, Anthony. You've done a good job up until now. I appreciate it. We're going to get through this and do it in a, hopefully in a civilized and conciliatory manner. And Mr. Kuzman and Anthony and I had a talk before the meeting, and I did advise him that even though there were a couple of items that were dismissed, and I'm going to put you on notice here, I noticed that there's things in the bylaws that perhaps we need to address. So I'll contact you with that, and after the first year, I'm going to ask you to convene the bylaws committee meeting and look at those. There might be other things at that time that the grievance panel comes back with and makes recommendations.
Yeah, that was one of the questions I was going to have, because we hadn't gotten into the grievance panel before.
Well, it's quite possible that the grievance panel may come back and say, you need to look at this part of your bylaws and address this. So I'm going to ask you to be thinking of a grievance bylaws and rules committee meeting in January, when this report is completed, and, you know, address at least the 2 issues that I saw that people raised. And anything in the grievance panel. All right. Thank you all very much. And again, thank you, Anthony. We're going to go to Outreach Committee, Mr. Dunlap.
Yep. So a lot of things on outreach. Dave furnished me with a list of emails, so I'll start out with how we did as far as disaster prep. We received 42 email subscribers now. Movie night 44, Halloween we got 75. So great job to the people who volunteered and helped out with that. That was awesome. So that's a total of 151 new people are subscribed to our newsletters and information. So that's a huge thing. So thank you very much, guys, for all your help on that. We had a meeting recently on the election committee, and I don't think there's any changes or moves on that yet. We're still going to meet again as far as Dave.
Yeah,
There's nothing really to announce, right?
No, I just will say there's information in the back. We are on a very tight timeline. I think I mentioned this before, but I'll go through it once more. We are the first region to hold elections. That will be on March 1st. The city clerk is pushing up the timeline here. So it looks like right now that, that the candidate filing time will be between December 15th and January 15th, approximately, a 30-day period. Is that right, Debbie? Does that sound about right? Debbie was at the first. Right. Okay. And then there will be verification process, and then we'll be doing outreach and publicity for the election itself. Anything you need to add on that, Debbie?
The only thing I want to add is if you do want at the next meeting, which is going to be the 19th at 6:30 at the fire station 87, we're going to have the outreach chair and the election chair in there, and the president. If you can make it. We do not have an IEA assigned yet, but they will have it assigned at that meeting.
IEA, what is that?
IEA, that is what they're calling the Independent Election Administrator, which was Jose Sandoval last time. The team is with the end of the assigned.
So I'm hopeful that on the 19th that they will assign
They
it.
said they will.
I'm planning on attending that meeting. Jed, if you mark that night.
Yes, December 18th.
And the list we
Right.
have who are
November
IEAs,
19th.
then that person helps us answer all the questions and responses.
November 19th.
Okay.
And I think I've already notified Dan, but I'll follow up.
Yeah,
Okay. And Debbie, if you'd like to attend as well, that would be great.
okay, I kind of,
Okay.
So that's, unless you guys have any other comments, that's what we have for the election. The flatbed truck thing, I called for volunteers. Are we just gonna rent one? Is that a part of the budget now? We're gonna rent a truck?
Yeah, I have talked to Ed Hennington, because we talked about going together on this. You know, there have been several years where they've rented a truck, and we've helped with decorating. They've allocated up to $200, so we could, and Ed indicated they would be great if we could rent the truck and they could buy the decorations. And the only problem with that, and I will tell you, since I hold a purchase card, I will not be here for the parade. And the reason I will not be here for the parade is it is always the first Sunday of the month in December, which would be the 1st. So I scheduled my vacation, so I would leave on the 7th. And then the chamber decided to make it on the 8th. So I'm not going to give up my 2 weeks in Mexico, I'm sorry, so that I can be there for the parade. Are you going with me?
Yeah, your parade.
So, anyway,
You won't be able to pay for it.
I will be able to do the rental of the truck, but it will have to be done by Friday, the 6th.
Okay.
It's prepaid.
Prepaid.
Yeah.
And anything else that you want done with that, just let me know.
Because, yeah, I had asked in an email if anyone knew anyone who had access to that or anything that might be interesting in the parade, classic cars, stuff like that. They would, because in the past we'd had stuff like that. We haven't for a long time now, but it's always a good outreach measure. And then the last thing, you can still get in touch with me if you find something like that, just email me, I'll make sure Dave knows. And the last one would be, we're pushing to try and get a newsletter out before December 1st, I guess.
Well, I think December 7th is probably the latest.
So, you're telling me. So one of the things that I talked about, for those of you that have been on council for a while, is even with Julie, last time, it ended up falling on my back a lot. I was doing like 3 days a week for almost 2 months, and it was just too much. It was just too much work. So I am not a graphic designer. I don't have any skill sets as far as the layout of the newspaper. Also, proofing it would be hilarious. I'm severely dyslexic, so I would not prove it well. So we need people who are going to volunteer on this committee, or it just simply will not happen. I would, of course, be happy to organize what articles are going to be placed where in the final draft of it from a marketing standpoint. That's what I did with Julie, moving things around, making sure it's appealing to person to pick up from their doorstep. So we did actually have our last newspaper was extremely well received, and probably one of the biggest ones as far as returns to the website and folks just coming over and saying, "Hey, great job." Dave, did you find anything out on that?
Yes, I have 2 companies,
Great.
Both of which will do the layout as well as the mailing.
And that's color, correct?
We didn't discuss color yet.
Okay.
I did discuss color, but there was kind of like, well, that's a lot of money. Okay, so,
Well, no, it's been
Well,
Northern color for a long
color.
time, and they tell me that it's the same price, so.
well, I don't know.
Okay.
I haven't, it's been very preliminary.
Right.
Simply contacting to say, here's what we want to do. The problem with the company that we've used the last couple times is it's simply a mailing house. Academy Mailing,
Yeah.
you dump it, they put it in the mail and they mail it. So we have to have a separate, just a second, we have to have a separate, graphic artist or somebody to put it together. Yes.
I've got a guy that I've been working with locally, who seems very good, who I want to make sure that he gets a chance to fill on this
For
too.
10,000 plus mail?
Yeah, I've been talking to, he's
Okay.
on the up and up, I've been, ever since we had that meeting in the middle of the year, and I said,
Perfect, yeah, that's exactly what I want, so,
I
yeah.
don't want to see a mailing go out without he got a shot at it, so.
Yeah.
Okay,
Once
that
I-
would be great.
Yeah.
Does he do the mailing too?
Yes, he does the mailing,
Whole
and
thing?
he's a printing guy, and, so.
Does he do the layout?
Yeah.
Okay,
He
perfect.
can probably do all of that.
All right, so that we would have at least 3 people. That would be great.
I had the old one, I think it was like 4.
Four total, so
Front,
eight.
back, yeah.
We do front, back, and then the idea would be to put the candidate filing.
Insert.
As the insert in the middle with at least one big article on elections, so it would serve 2 purposes.
I did the photos last time, but I'll talk to you this time too.
Yeah, I'm willing to do
Yeah,
that.
for sure. So, yeah, I guess what I'm trying to think of, Dave, is that we wouldn't have any time for voting the funds from now until then.
The funds have been budgeted.
Yeah, I mean, we have that.
We have to vote on that? The funds have been budgeted for newsletters.
Up to,
But I can put it on the agenda for the special meeting.
just.
Oh, no, it's part of our budget, yeah.
Okay, perfect.
It's-
Yeah, I know what
Oh,
it
yeah,
is.
4,000.
Yeah, okay, perfect. Awesome.
So, yeah, it's,
We can put the specific amount, once we decide, select the vendor, we can put that on our special meeting. We could even do it as late as the December meeting, if we have everything ready, laid out.
You sell
I
hats?
prefer to put it on the special meeting.
No.
I think we can.
we don't need to.
Technically, we don't need to vote the money.
Right, never mind, yeah.
We've already said 4 grand.
Yeah, I just wanna make sure. we're not
Just
sitting on it.
in case there's a timing issue.
Sure.
Okay.
Great. So, yeah, that's
Any,
it.
any other questions for Jeff? Yes?
Back up to the Florida parade with the truck. You said about, we won't be here, decorating the truck. And I thought you were going to be those items, that.
Well, if we did the truck, they said they would spend the money for the decoration.
Because one of the things that we talked about in the election committee was the banner.
Banner for election.
Putting the
Yes,
election
that's absolutely fair.
on there because that's the way to get it out there on the 8th.
Perfect, right.
I just want to make sure if the north is, if it's the north as well.
We can fit that in the budget for sure.
Oh, yeah. They can do a paper banner.
Is it
Get the
banner
north
on
side,
the-
we get the south side.
Yeah.
Okay.
We got 4 grand, I think, for the election.
And as I understand it, Granada Hills North is doing elections this year rather than their town hall selection. So,
Nobody was asking me from there, but they went out of the town hall.
they did town hall selection last time. But apparently this year, so
But I just
we
want to
can,
make sure that gets into.
well, we have $500 budgeted, so I can't imagine a truck rental for a few days is gonna cost. We can order a banner from Postal Plus.
I
Put it
can,
on.
I can get you a banner too.
Pardon me?
I can get a banner.
Okay, so we'll talk about that, we'll design it, we'll get it out,
But
that's awesome.
my question is how do you split the two organizations?
You don't, all we're doing is we're outreaching to the community that we are having our neighborhood elections, period, that
Yeah.
is the date, then we get out there, and then we're gonna put it everywhere else.
But you have two sides of the truck.
Yeah, right. It doesn't matter, you can put the same banner up. It's a
It's the same
regional
one.
election.
It's a region,
Yeah.
yeah, because it's a region. It'll be the same date for them as for us.
Oh, it is?
Yes, so all we wanna do is make sure it says, neighborhood council elections on such and such a date.
I see.
Please look for further, something to let them know.
Absolutely, yeah, that's
It's coming.
good.
I would
General.
think that, making a big banner and and having it say Granada Hills Neighborhood Council, and then in the small upper corner, have north and south, but make the banner big so you advertise neighborhood council.
Well, there we go, there will also be that, I mean, there
Yeah.
has traditionally been that
I
on
mean,
the
as far as
front
the
anyway.
sign goes,
Yeah.
you can do anything you want, as long as you don't mention candidates or anything like that, we're good.
We had to take down the vote for Dave's banner.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But, because if you put too much stuff, people
No.
don't see it.
We just wanna
Yeah,
let
no,
them know.
we'll be
that-
good about it, we're clean, we're good,
Ms. Goodman?
that's it.
First thing, I heard mention of election committee meeting.
Yes,
When was that?
that was,
It was October 30th.
Was it on the calendar or the
it was a
agenda?
Regional
It was a
meeting.
region to organizational meeting.
Oh, okay, the regional
It
meeting?
was called by,
Okay,
it was called by them.
okay. Second question is, I have to go in a minute. What day is the special meeting scheduled for?
Either the 18th or the 20th.
I will probably be gone that week, but, oh well.
All right, any other business before we go into comment? Yeah,
I'd like to know if I can speak for a second.
you may.
I'm gonna stand up if you don't mind.
I'll show you what we got.
I wanted to introduce myself to you. I'm Lydia Grant, and I'm the new Board of Neighborhood Commissioners Commissioner for the North Valley. So I am in contact if you have any questions or anything that you need. I've been hitting the different neighbor councils, and they keep telling me no commissioner's ever shown up before. So to me, it's really important that I hear from everybody all over the city, that I hear your feedback, that I hear your ideas and suggestions. Because when we're in our meetings and we have to make the decisions and the policies that you have to govern under, it's important to me that we get as much feedback as we can. So, my city cards aren't ready yet, but basically you can find me through the Department of Neighborhood Empowerment. Also, I'm on Sunland to Hunda's Neighborhood Council. So, I did attend the regional election meeting for those of you that were there. It is really important to me that I work together with you. I'm not just the bonk commissioner that nobody ever saw. So I just wanted to introduce myself and let you know you'll be seeing me again. I'm not here to oversee you, as far as I'm not here as your watchdog or to criticize or anything. I truly don't see myself in that role. I only see myself in a role to help facilitate whatever you need, and if that means being a mediator between the department and you, whatever that takes, I am more than happy to do that. So I just wanted to introduce
Do we
myself.
still have an IDA assigned in?
No, they have not been assigned, but it will be assigned before that next meeting, yes.
What's your last name, Lydia?
My last name is Grant, Grant.
I'll email you a photo of her card. I took a picture of it.
I have my neighborhood council cards, I just don't have my city cards yet.
Are you, Lydia, are you Lydia Grant at,
It will be lydia.grant@lacity.org.
and could you spell Lydia?
LYDIA.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to go in, thank you, Lydia. We're going to go into board comments, agenda items for next month. I will start with Mr. Hudson. Comments? No? Dr. Luzak?
Well, guys, the beautification project is on hold again still. Problems with DG and then asking now for 3D elevations. So keep kind of adding new things in terms of the permitting process. So we're still optimistic, but it's hold up the permits. And also Debbie is going to let us know if perhaps we can proceed in the near future with any of the beautification of the utility box, depending on how the
We're
rules
saving it for
fall.
my comment, but that's.
Spoiler alert.
Introducing it.
Eric? Now you can, even though he stepped on your comment, go
I'm
ahead.
gonna follow up on the, Red Smith utility box beautification that he wanted to, so I'll follow up on that and get back to you.
Granada Hills Business Improvement District would like to have agenda item on the next agenda for a grant for lighting for the palm trees that are in the medians. You know,
Oh, yeah.
well, they've been working on it, they've already paid for some, but we don't have enough money left in our budget to really have a big impact. And, you know, they wanna put like the string lights on, and they've already paid for lighting that, something that sticks out, you know, but now we're gonna have to enlarge that, or do some. But they have a very large project, the one that we're trying to get the permits for what's gonna be called the White Oak, you know, the intersection, it's probably what's called. The project would be huge on White Oak. This is to see if we can get something that will really make an impact on the trees, and we don't have that in our budget. So they want to be on the next,
Well,
agenda in December.
Yeah, it's an improvement. We can't make a NPG to the bid or to, you
No,
know,
but directed to
but
a
we
company.
can make it directed to a vendor.
It's Daylight, we're getting bids from, it's called Daylight, it's the name of the company that has given us a sample on one of the trees, so it would be directly to pay Daylight for the lighting on the palm trees.
What's the approximate request?
I think they're gonna ask for 5,000, but I know
Ooh.
that, I know. All right, so, I mean.
Why not 10?
Hey, how about?
Let's stop at 5.
We just spent a little money.
Our next year's is there. I don't know if
Maybe
that's- we
less, I
liked
don't
your
know the
town.
exact
Yeah,
number, I mean.
We'll see
they-
what we got left in the old
Well, they
beautification
could,
budget.
you know, they would contribute, you know, also to it, they just don't have enough to cover their budget.
I get it.
You'll have to be crunching some numbers between now and then.
Huh?
What is the total proposal?
I have to go back and look,
Sal?
because they've been giving us samples.
Sally?
Yeah, I'm gonna put in an article in the newsletter,
Sooner the better.
Yeah, whenever you submit it, we'll, and now remember, just so you guys know, because a lot of people weren't here for the last one, we do get a lot of articles, or, I mean, I don't know if we will this time, but we have had to not have articles, due to, the volume of articles, just space, so it's not personal.
Where's your deadline?
When's our deadline? We don't even know.
Maybe because you've been doing it. We never
Yeah.
had.
Yeah.
It was just, we all submitted articles by email.
Yeah.
Well, when would you like?
No, I'm
that?
doing it.
Well,
Yeah,
I
we
would
just can't
say,
organize it.
Jen, what would you say, December first, would be probably the very latest?
Oh, for articles?
For articles?
Oh, yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm earlier in that, if we're, well, if it goes to print, yeah, that's fine, that's fine. If we're
That would
planning
give
on
us,
going to print,
that would give the vendor a week or so.
I really gotta talk to find out the timelines of the new printer people, like, I don't know what their timeframe for turnaround is.
I would think it would
Tentatively,
it would
yeah.
take at least a week. So we want this to coincide, if possible, with that December 15th date. Art? Pass? Darren? Mr. Lyle?
I thought it was great tonight, there's, you know, I mean, that, you know, we give money, to worthy causes, in our neighborhood council, our neighborhood, but this was tremendous, that they came and entertained us, and they were great. I think we need to find a kazoo band. That was Dave's comment, he thinks I'd be a right kazoo, but anyway. But I thought that was wonderful. I like, for the ego of Granada Hills South Neighborhood Council to get recognition for what we do. The idea of, you know, we're putting up these lights every year, we spend $3,000–4,000, I guess, on lights, you know, so, yeah, well, and then we spend for the putting up, and I'm assuming the $3,500 for the state.
Yes.
But, I would like to see, us get recognition for that. As far as the outreach programs, I was at the disaster training, at movie night and at the Halloween. It was great, that we are getting names. Cindy Wu should be congratulated for the number that we got at the Halloween. She was the one signing people up. We got over 75 names for that night. And I'd like to know how many is on our email list.
You know, I've been meaning to write there and find out, I'll get that and put it out.
You can email her too at any time.
Okay. You know, tonight was a great meeting, we got a lot accomplished. I'm looking forward to resolving our issues with our stakeholder. I'll be applying 3 very good impartial judges to, or arbitrators or mediators or whatever to review it. I think, you know, as much as a pain in the behind it's been, we are also, we were mentioned as the #1 neighborhood council out of 95 to actually get everybody trained on ethics. And, you know, and the other schooling. And a lot of that was prodding, you know, but it did get done. And I think that as far as neighborhood councils go, and I know a lot of different people in different neighborhood councils, we are the best. We are the best. Okay, and I have something on the 18th that I might not be able to get out of, so I hope it's the 20th.
Well, what I didn't mention is I'm gonna ask Mark to videotape that meeting. If he isn't available, we have our own video. But anyone that can attend the meeting, I'm going to ask them to watch the video. So if you can't make it, I really, for the chairs, it is mandatory. For everyone else, I really want you to be there. If you can't, then you're gonna watch the video so that everybody's up to speed. Jen?
I don't, maybe I just missed this. Usually we allocate additional funds to the holiday party for our council meeting in December. Usually we have kind of holiday like food. Remember we used to do that? I don't know if we missed that or if we're just not doing it. Okay. I just was thinking about it. The November usually we do that.
Yeah, it's a board meeting. I don't even think we did it. We've done it every year.
We've done it the last couple of years, but we're not gonna do it this year, because
Okay.
we just have too much business to get done.
Okay.
We can still have.
Potluck.
Saying that we don't have to have that.
Potluck.
Gina?
Oh, yeah, Thanksgiving.
All right, I just want to thank everyone for your patience tonight. Sorry about the screw up. I really did not know about it. I had contacted Mike Panman about 2 o'clock. Asked to make sure everything was set up. He wrote me back about 4, said no problem. Apparently between 4 and 6 o'clock, he sent me another email saying, oops, problem. But by that time it was too late. I was already on to doing other things. So I'll get you just a minute, Rob. Randy?
Thanks for running a smooth meeting. I know it's tough, and I know that there was obviously a delay. I think you handled it very nicely. Thank you.
Just 2 things. One is I can't possibly make the 20th, so on that routine. The second thing is, Ross was clear tonight, but we had a discussion at the last meeting or the meeting before, I can't remember, about the problems with the food trucks and getting a policeman, and Darrell mentioned tonight that he got the letter, and in fact he did get back from a police officer at Devonshire who's going to be interacting with Ross on that subject, so I just wanted to note that that is moving ahead.
Yeah, Ross has been, it's ongoing, working on that. All right. Yes, Mark?
I'd like to throw out the idea of adding a communication director to the board. And I think it's important after seeing your events, some of your events. I'd like to see better signage and a consistency of signage from the organization, and just that everything's consistent with what you guys are wanting to put out. So I think it's
There are a lot of
position.
other neighborhood councils that have that position.
I think it's important to have that.
Not a bad idea. That's a bylaws change we have to make. That's something, if you would remind Eric of that, as we get into the bylaws changes that we may be doing in January. Ralph, did you have a comment?
Yes, my suggestion is perhaps you should contact William Hunter, since the Patriot Oil Amenities Committee has forwarded some money up to you for the beautification at Chatsworth and Rhino, perhaps that could be extended, to light and palm trees.
Yeah, okay.
So if you contact him, that might be a good idea.
Okay, that's good.
I
Yes.
have one last thing to say before, I had my neighbor sold their house and they were going away for the weekend. While they were gone, there was water trying to move in. So if you have any empty houses or people with houses for sale, I'm just saying, keep an eye out, because I couldn't believe that they actually brought their stuff in and tried to move in. And then we could jump inside that, just call the police, but just let me know they're in the neighborhood, looking for empty houses.
Wait, I mean vacant, not empty,
Well-
like their stuff was in there.
The house was dark because they moved away for the weekend. Their house has signed, it had sold, so the people who were squatting thought it was empty, but they were technically still there.
The furniture was there.
Yes, they still have furniture in there, but they didn't care. They were still moving in. So I'm just saying, just be aware if you see stuff in your neighborhood.
And did they walk in on Tuesday?
They drove up at night when they were getting home, and their truck was in their driveway unloading stuff in the dark. Yeah.
Motion to adjourn.
Yes.
All right, we have a motion to adjourn by Mr. Mansker. Is there a second? Second? Second by you, All those in favor, say